Hey guys, Rabbit here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast, and today we have yet another retro Broodwar game back from 2008 between Artosis, who is in the purple Terran today, bottom left, and in the cross position he is playing against G5, a pretty well-known Protoss player from this era. A lot of the American players were having regular battles and tournaments around about this time. Got this replay from Team Liquid and I'm really enjoying doing this little retro craft series. We are on a map called Blue Storm and I've never seen this map before. I don't know if it's a two-player map. We will obviously get an idea from the scouting as to exactly what size map this is. But I'm very much looking forward to this game. I must admit I had so much fun with the feedback I got from the Artosis Idra game. People just, I don't know, a part of me thinks people love Artosis and a part of me thinks people hate Artosis. Maybe the right answer is people love to hate Artosis. That is the conclusion that I have come to from the last game that I have cast. But people really enjoy watching his PVTs, and so I figured let's load up another one. The tagline for this on Team Liquid is that it's an epic game. This is definitely a two-player map because the probe has just come straight across here. So here we go. Gas has sort of been partly started, I think, just to block the gas steal. And now we have a little bit of a worker battle here. So I'm quite looking forward to this game. I think G5 is a very strong Protoss player. And would therefore give Artosis a very big run for his money. Listen guys, the reality is, as much as people love trolling Artosis, and honestly I think he plays up to it to a large extent, his antics on his stream and that sort of thing, I personally believe that it's a bit of an act. You know, if the rage brings in views and brings in subs, then why change the formula? You know, he gets more than 4 times the amount of views that someone like Tasteless does. And I think just because his behavior it draws in more drama, more views. So the other thing is that he's a good player. I mean, he's been playing high A rank, low S rank for more than 10 years on the ladder. There's not a lot of us who can say that we've been able to hang there, especially playing as Terran. So as much as people want to trash him, he's a very, very decent Starcraft player. Nobody can really take that away from him. Even if he does make mistakes, even if he is considered to be a bad loser, he's a bloody good Starcraft player. Anyway, my speech about RT aside, here comes the first Zealot to come and give some grief to our Terran, and he does not look ready to deal with this one iota. There's a single Marine, and that's it. His factory's on the way. I think the SCV building the factory is a very good target here, and that's what he chooses to shoot down. Chasing this Marine. Run, Marine, run! Okay, so he does have the Zealotite wall there, or the hole. And now he's going to go behind the mineral line. This is pretty good micro from RT. Now the Zealot can hit the SCVs through the mineral line there. Gets a kill. That was really good micro. I think he's got up to 3 Marines now, so he should actually be able to move in and take this out of there. If this Marine gets one more hit, he's going to go down. He's very, very red. Factories come up now though, and I wouldn't be surprised. I was going to say I was really expected Artie to pop out a Vulture before adding on the shop, but he's confident enough that his 4 Marines are enough to fend off any further Zealots and the Zealots that's here. G5 meanwhile behind this has just gone with a pretty standard range, soon to be expand. So a good pressure opening. I think the purpose of the Zealot, I had a very strong Terran player actually respond to my question about that not too long ago. The purpose of the Zealot is just to keep the Terran player honest, to try and block the racks expand, and to force out the factory and the machine shop before he's able to expand, just to get a little bit of an economic lead. So that's why that is also such a popular piece of the meta nowadays, even though this game is from 2008. The idea of sending the early Zealots by no means has changed. Okay, so second gateway coming in. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Robo as soon as he has 200 minerals. Which is probably what's going to come up here. 200 gas, I meant to see. Yeah, sorry, it was 200 minerals. He already had the gas. So he'll probably be progressing now, G5 or Protoss, to getting his observer out onto the map ASAP. Artosis, meanwhile, sending his SCV across just to get another scout, just to see what tech he can see. I don't think his SCV is going to get too far, unfortunately, because this Dragoon's going to cut him off, and that's going to be the end of that. So we can just see this is a very standard 2-gate range into robotics. I don't know if he's going to do Reavers or Reaver harassment, or if he's just building this purely for the intentions of observers. The units that are active and out on the map is 2 goons and a zealot. Artosis has flown this barracks here, I think for scouting of any incoming drops from this angle, which is good. And he set up his initial expansion. No bunker as of yet. I think the tank and the 4 Marines he probably feels safe enough. Although, perhaps if the unit count of the Protoss gets to a little bit of a higher number, he's going to need a bunker or siege mode. I don't see these resource siege mode as of yet. In fact, I don't know what, if any, machine shop upgrades Artosis has done. He's building an eBay here just to create a little bit of a wall. But the reality is there's no bunker. He's going to have to come forward and engage with these Dragoons, which he seems happy enough to do. Alright, so pulls back, does a little repair on the siege tank. So it's 2 facts, but I don't know what upgrades. The armory's not spinning yet. He's got the academy up. He's got the scanners. So he's got a good idea of the fact that the Protoss is now 3 basing Protoss at 6 minutes, which is, by modern meta, pretty standard. You've got the 3-gate obs into your 3rd base. Now we'll see that transition from Protoss will either be into Arbiter or Carriers, depending on how he wants to play this game. Or if he was already quite swish in his style G5, you can obviously also look for the Templar shuttle option as well. So those are kind of the common strategies that the Protoss tends to use. Okay, so Artosis is just tank marine man. He's had the machine shops for a long time and done nothing with them, which I must admit is puzzling me. The armory is spinning, which is good. I don't know if he's done mines. I don't know. I don't see any vultures, which is, I think, also a little bit problematic. He's not really inhibited the movement of his Protoss opponent at all in this game. So Protoss has had absolute free reign to expand, move his units around, without any fear of harassment of any kind. So turret comes up, I suppose just to have the anti-air against shuttles and a little bit of extra detection if required against something like DTs. But yeah, pretty quiet start to this game. G5 just getting his macro up nice and powerful, does his worker transfer, so he's got 3 fully running bases. I really like the start from him, it's been very smooth. He's powering up now to 5, 6, 7 gateways. A little fight here. The siege mode now only coming from Artosis. I'm honestly a little bit puzzled by this build. Okay, so it's a 4-fac, 1 armory, academy, opening. He's got plenty of tanks, so I don't suppose he can die in a heads-up engagement. But that being said, he's put absolutely no pressure on Protoss at all. I mean, if you're G5 and you have an observer in the base, which he's just got here, take one look at this and you go, maybe I can take a 4th. Because I have quite a few Dragoons, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gateways. I'm getting legs for my zealots. So I can pretty much take any heads-up engagement, especially considering that my Terran friend has not laid a single mine in this game. Sees the command center coming in, sub 9 minutes, all the Artosis fans going, look, he does expand! He does expand! So that's really cool to see. Starport coming up as well, so that he can progress in his upgrades. But this is a very unusual build. Even seeing Goliaths before vultures. Usually in an Artosis PvT you see quite a lot of vulture play, and there's none at this stage. So this must be a push. Alright, so the tanks are sieging up, and I think it's because he's intending on landing the 3rd command center here. My only concern is this narrow little choke here. He could get some units in and backstab, so maybe he would just need to keep an eye out on that. Meanwhile, G5's looking to expand again, which I think is exactly the right call. He would have scouted with his observer that Artosis is setting up to land this command center. So basically the second that you as Protoss have the signal that your Terran opponent is taking a third, it's your invitation to take a fourth and fifth base and just basically start taking the whole map. And then it puts the onus on Terran to come and kill you. And we all know how Artosis just sits there. See what I did there? I made a joke. Anyway, so the onus is certainly on the Terran player to go out onto the map and kill bases, and it's not easy to do, especially if Protoss is got observers in good places. You're able to thwart any attacks and certainly pounce on top of what is a pretty slow and cumbersome army mech units when you're trying to move them around. Okay, so this Nexus is really close to Artosis' main, which creates some drop potential and a variety of other sort of manipulation opportunities. I don't know how many other bases are on this map, but I can't imagine there are all that many. There's one here now that's being discovered by the observer. I presume there's one here in the corner, and that would probably be it. So this is a map of very limited bases and very limited expansion opportunities. I think he's flying the observer around here just to keep an eye on if and when there'd be a move out. Okay, so the vultures have finally arrived. Mines are now being researched at 11.5 minutes. I'm standing here scratching my head. Nobody can see me scratching my head. That's why I'm telling you that I'm doing it. Speed for these vultures is coming out as well. So vultures can now go out into the map and create a presence for themselves. But at this stage, our Protoss has got hordes of High Templars, observers, upgraded units. What is his ground upgrades now? 0-0. Okay, so maybe the only thing that he hasn't done that I would have liked to have seen at this stage is a forge. A forge is there, and there's another forge, and there's 3 forges, and only one of them is spinning. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, so Artosis isn't the only one doing some weird stuff in this game. I don't know why Protosses do this, why they build 3 forges. So seldom do they remember to get even 2 of them spinning, let alone all 3 at the same time. Okay, so I think G5 is positioning himself here, expecting this to be where Artosis moves out from. I think this could be quite a juicy fight in this position here. He has High Templars flanking this army, which I think will throw a lot of splash damage on this, which is good. He's definitely at an upgrade disadvantage, although Artosis only has +1. He's working on +2 as well for both his shields and... So he's working +1 armor and +2 ground attack for his mech as well. So upgrades at this stage are not too much of an issue, but as this game scales, all 3 forges are now spinning. So me and my big mouth, at least he's got that going nicely. Oh, what a storm drop that was. Oh my god, that was devastating. He got 12, I think 14 SCVs. I can just hear the rage coming from here. And having this base right here is really going to be a huge thorn in Artosis' side. The Vultures have come to tidy this up. Vultures don't do too great against Archons, but they've got that one done. I just caught the back end of that drop. I heard it. I didn't quite have the screen in the right place at the right time, but we all saw his work account went from about 60 to 48. So that really hurts, and this little bit of harassment is going to prove to be very painful on this base because of the position of this base here. This 5th base of G5 totally unharassed. He's having such a good time. We now have confirmation that the only other base available on this map is this one. So this is going to be a game of small margins and relatively low economy. And here we come. It looks like a big push. I don't think pushing in here is a good idea. There are lots of entrenched tanks here. This is just meat grinder kind of stuff. There's too many of the Vultures are behind the siege tanks though and not in front. I think the pathing is a bit of a problem. He couldn't get the Vultures around, so the Vultures are not really helping at all. So he's getting way more tanks than he should here. The Vultures should have been able to do a lot more buffering than they did do. So this trade has actually gone much better for Protoss than it probably should have done. But there is hordes and hordes of blue goo. Every Protoss player's nightmare in this match. And so Artosis is thinking perhaps that he's broken the back of the Protoss army, starts to move forward, picks off a High Templar. This is a good opportunity for him to get some Vultures out on the map and do some harassment, which I think is what he's going to do. He's also moving these tanks across, but I think he needs to take a breath and think about which of the bases to target Certainly some of the more vulnerable bases on the outskirts, which are difficult to reinforce or have been walled in, would probably be a better option than marching on the natural, for example, when reinforcements would be close by. G5's kept a lot of his units back though, perhaps to bait him in. 70 probes to 56 SCVs. He is reinforced beautifully here. Also some arbiters coming into the game now, so an arbiter tech tree, a very, very conventional. This build that he did was sort of a three gate, 3 bases, get your tech tree up to arbiters. The only thing that deviates from the standard meta of this arbiter build is probably the 3 forges. Otherwise, the flavor of this build is very, very similar to arbiter play that we see in modern PVTs as well. So as expected, Artosis moving out onto the map here, trying to target this upper base. I think that's the right option. And the mines here should should slow down the Protoss army massively if they want to come here and assist. So the scan goes down, a couple of probes being picked off by the tanks. Tanks are nicely in position here. I think the idea though from Protoss is potentially to sack that base and to storm the natural. We'll see. Here's all his units here. We can keep an eye on the red. So he's going to lose. He hasn't evacuated this base, but he doesn't seem to have too many probes. Meanwhile, as expected, he's moving in on this position. A lot of tanks here. There's no storms. Here comes the first one. That's a pretty decent storm. He's going to want to get off another one on these vultures. The vultures are the key. If he can get them out of the way, he'll be able to get through to the tanks. The High Templars there, throws it down on the vultures. A lot of them back out, which is good. Arbiters are here now providing stasis, or cloak, but I don't think there's enough Protoss here. He's going to hold this off pretty easily, and that actually went really well for Terran. G5 is probably also going to lose this base. I think both very effective plays now from Terran, holding that attack and taking down this base, so evening out the economic disparity. Meanwhile, Artosis behind this, or a short while ago, I think I missed exactly when, has taken this corner base, which I think is massive in terms of him having economic parity in this game. This game now will potentially come down to who fights for this base, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 basing versus 5, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, and the natural's now mined out. So it's going to be very, very important who fights for this base. We can see G5's got a bit of a bank, so he's not spending his money perhaps as well as he could be. He's got plenty of excess supply. These zealots are just showering mines. I think those mines tripped each other, which makes mines, honestly, the most tilting unit in this game. Alright, so the supplies are even, and I think there's certainly a window here for Artosis to come down and kill this base, which would be a clutch play. Maybe a drop here. If he just pops a couple of siege tanks into a shuttle, into a dropship, drops them here, a couple of mines over there, and then this is going to be a very, very difficult base for G5 to defend. So Arbiter's cloaking these goons are moving around, just clearing the minefields, making it a little bit easier for Protoss to move around freely on the map. Where's our Terran friend? He does have the science facility, he does have the control tower, so he could build the dropships if he wanted to. Meanwhile, we suddenly have an explosion of stargates, which, I smell a carrier switch. So 20 minutes into the game, Route 1, which was Templars, Arbiters, ground units, that approach wasn't working, so G5 says, you know what? Carriers, good unit. I presume Artosis, because I heard a lot of scans going off now, will probably have seen this because it's not particularly well hidden amongst all of this other unitry inside the main. So we have an engagement here. I don't think Protoss should be engaging, especially if he wants to do a carrier switch. He doesn't have the gas for a carrier switch. Is he mining gas at all his bases? Mining gas here with 1. Oh, that's tilting because he's got so little gas. Mining with all 3 there. There is no gas here. Mining there. So he's just got to put he's got to put his workers on gas, man. Come on, G5! Do it! I don't think this is a good engagement. The tanks are on the high ground. The vultures are beautifully in front, buffering. You're just gonna get nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And a few mines as well to slow everybody down. Nope! Still only got 1 mining gas there. He's gonna have a really hard time switching into carriers if he doesn't have any gas. The observer flying in just to count the factories, check the tech. I think it's just really unfortunate Artosis missed a trick here with the drops. You drop and harass this base, and it would be very, very difficult for G5 to get units in to block anything. See? I'm hearing the tanks. So the army has come around. So Artosis, instead of going with the drop route, has actually moved his entire army down here. They've stasis a huge clunk of the tanks. There's a lot of zealots here though, not that many goons. So the vultures are having a pretty good time. He is short of a few tanks though, although the line does run a little bit deeper than what you initially see here. So these units being forward is a little bit of a problem. There's no science vessel here providing any detection, so it's very, very difficult to fight this, just continuously scanning. The mines will help though, because it's going to trip a few on the dragoons. And this fight still hasn't gone very well for Protoss, who is struggling to reinforce. He's not even building carriers. He's just got 3 Stargates, not doing a damn thing. He's just building a horde of zealots because he's got no gas. He still doesn't have 3 workers on this gas. Oh my god, when he was watching this game, he probably would have tilted so much when he saw the replay. Anyway, we get to see these things in real life, or when I say in real life, in real time. And it is tricky. Okay, so here's where this bloody thing's been happening. So he's back here again harassing this base. There's really not much value to be had though. I mean, this base has got more money and it's so much harder to defend, and he could have killed it a while ago. Come on, Artosis! I believe in you! Oh, all 3 forges are spinning, except that one. It's not bad. 2 out of 3 is not bad. Still a pass. Alright, so these tanks are here again, and he's either out of scanners or... Oh! The splash damage on those. Lovely stasis though, but the vultures are here now to save the day. I've always said Artosis' vulture play is more than decent. That was a really good stasis, and those mines kind of counted against Terran there, unfortunately. But again, a nice deep line of tanks. Lots of mines here. These mines might trip in an unfriendly way, though. Okay, so that goon ate all of them, and suddenly we're back even on supply. What a game! It's just to and fro, big fight, one after the other. Trying to go in the front door hasn't worked, and the idea to do a drop here hasn't seemed to have occurred to Artosis. Meanwhile, 2 arbiters are going into the main. Recall, baby! Although, oh my god! 2 or 3 units, it felt like, went in there, and the mines just wiped out about 5 zealots in one go. That was beautiful if you're a Terran fan, and brutal if you're not. Some more units have come in here. I don't know if it was a double recall, if these ones just ran into the front door. But where is Artosis' army coming to kill all these damn Protoss units? Your factories are dying! Do something! Okay, so oh my god, couple more mines, but this is really, really catastrophic damage. How many factories are you gonna lose? You've only got 4 left. Come on, Arnie! Do something! Don't sweat, don't rage. Click, click, click. Fight, fight, fight. Let's go. He's not doing a counter somewhere. This is just literally all where his attention is, right? Yes, okay. So, kill the units! Okay, so some Goliaths have finally arrived. They decided to kill an observer because that was clearly more important than his factories that are on fire. Hello! Still 5 goons left here, 1 zealot. Oh my god, this damage from this recall was absolutely catastrophic. I'm so glad I was just in the right place in the right time to see those arbiters go there. Even more reason for Artosis to have targeted down this base early, just because of its proximity to his main. Hey, still not mining at his gas. Alright, 128. That was an absolutely critical blow. He's having to rebuild. He's building 3 factories at once. And he's basically just, with the odd arbiter, he's basically just Gatewayman. So the carriers were a fake out. There's 3 here and there's a fleet beacon, but he hasn't built a damn carrier, so he's still going arbiters, and I think that was just a trick to try and bait Artosis into building Goliaths instead of tanks and vultures. To some degree, I must admit it worked, because there were a lot more Goliaths in his army than he probably would have had otherwise. This SCV is like, I will kill all of you! Let's go! Oh no. Alright, so this base from Artosis is in a world of pain. There are a bajillion Zealots and Goons that all have 333! Oh my god, this is like the mega upgrade Gatewayman with the odd recall and the odd stasis. It is brutal how quickly he just tore through that base. Artosis here is in a world of pain. I don't know how he comes back from here. He really needed that income. He's got this base running. He doesn't have this base running. Another recall came in here and it just wrecked Lord knows how many, but he's called in another one. Let's recall in the main. Do something with his units. They're sleeping. So he's attacking the factories here. He's moving in, although the mines will take care of these boys. No problem at all. Where are the vultures? Now the vultures arrive to take these out. And this is mainly zealots that are here, so these vultures will have a pretty good time, although the arbiters providing cloak is absolutely worthless because there's 3 vessels here. This game has just been absolutely nuts. There have been about 3 or 4 simultaneous recalls, plus triple 3 Gatewayman, killing bases, taking names, crushing fools. So he's got this base mining is what I was trying to say, and that's it. Artosis is a 1 mining base Terran. This base is mined out, the gas is not. Get it? Because, you know, he wasn't mining it. This has got a tiny bit of minerals, and then you've got vacancies. There's open base, open base. So this game is entirely going to come down to who can establish and take these remaining 2 bases, both of which have been taken by either player. Everybody always makes the argument that the cost efficiency of Terran and the scale in the long run gives them an advantage in this game. So that potentially gives Artosis a way out here, but he has to re-establish this base, or he needs to establish this base. G5 seems to know that this is the base to take. He sent some probes. I think he's long distance mining. Look at these zealots! There's so many zealots. It's insane! How Artosis doesn't lose right here, right now. It's got to be over. There's no ways he can hold against this. This is just a shitload of zealots. Oh, but the mines though. But here we go, and his micro on the vultures is good. He's sort of kiting them back towards where he's got some tank support. Again, the body blocking is really, really good. And the numbers are thinning here for G5. A really nice spread, although a lot of them have got on top of the tanks now. So his tank guard is pretty much reset to 0. It's 106 versus 79. The worker counts are pretty even. What a game this is. G5 meanwhile throws down the Nexus in this critical base. Nobody's trying to build a command center here. There's really actually not much money here. If I'm realistic, this is it. Whoever gets this base and is able to hold it wins this match. There's still a little bit of a bank, although Artosis seems to have slightly more banked up money than his opponent does. And so he has got to shut this base down. Absolutely critical. He's up to 5 facts again, so he's managed to fend off those recalls. He's gone through about 6 of them, the poor bastard. And here we are carrying on. G5 again, sending in some units across. So Artosis is flying in the command center to land on top of the Nexus that G5 is currently building. This is absolutely crazy. The SCVs have been told to mine somewhere. I don't know where. Couple of dead SCVs there, so he's down to 32. I don't think he can find work for his SCVs, so they're kind of straggling along and getting picked off here. Arbiters are flying around. Look at this arbiter! He's like, I will kill you, tank! Nope, I'm good. I'm gonna go somewhere else. What even is this game? It's got to be over. G5 has got to have this. He holds onto this base. There's just nothing Artosis can do. So Artosis, so G5's actually managed to shut down operations at this base, which is really brutal. He sent a whole heap of ground units there. Artosis had nothing to reinforce, so he's had to float this away. And we can all start saying a prayer for our Terran friend as he takes yet another L in the PVT column. Or does he? Or does he? Or does he decide, screw it, I am going to produce a miraculous comeback that nobody, including you, Rabbit, saw coming? Time will tell. $78. I mean, this is it. It's vessels, it's a couple of tanks, it's a couple of Goliaths. It's got to be over against Triple Forge Gatewayman. Here come the Zealots. Oh, here come the Zealots. Here go the Zealots. D-Matrix that tank, although there doesn't seem to be a fight happening now. Oopsie. Okay, so he's going, this is the base you want to kill? Come kill it. I've got some cannons, I've got some units, I've got some arbiters. Do your worst. Do your worst. Alright, so he is sieging up the tanks. If the units come forward, I think the vultures will support. Alright, so some shots going off here. The tank's doing good work. These must be 3-3 tanks, right? 2-3-2 tanks, okay. So he is wrecking his worker count. He doesn't have workers anywhere else. And now, very, very clever boy, flying his command center to help spot. So there go more cannons. And there go more probes. Another probe down, 27. Another probe down, 26. This is pretty effective. I think G5's going to go and try and kill these workers. The workers are coming in here to mine. They're all mining from the same place. This is insane. Where did his army go? Did he move his units away from here? Why? Why, G5? Did you move your army away from here? The SCVs are killing the probes. The Nexus goes down. He's going to land this command center again and start mining. This is insane. What a turn. Where did his units go? He recalled his units into the main, of course. So meanwhile, that's something I missed. He put the units there, he had these arbiters in position the whole time. So he decided, okay, I'm going to bring my units across and I'm going to kill all of Artosis' production. Artosis is like, fine, then you've got nothing protecting you. So let me kill all your probes, let me kill your Nexus, let me land my command center, and let me start mining with my 28 SCVs and bring you down to 12 probes. So the problem though for Artosis is, all of his production is here, so he's almost going to have to rebuild his home away from home when he can get that mining up and running. But G5 has got no money. He's out of money. He's not got any income. It's it. The units he has on the map are the units he has on the map. The difference though for Artosis is he's at least re-established this base and he's mining, he's earning money so he can build units. Whereas our Protoss cannot. So as fun as it can be for him to kill all of this, and Artosis is bringing back some of the units he had to establish his base to actually try and kill these remaining ground units. The Arbiter's running away. Oh, he's killed that Arbiter. That's big. These Arbiters have been hugely painful casting spells, particularly recall. So it's 63, which is mainly army. He actually, once he established the base, managed to come back with his army and kill that. So G5 has got this. He's got an Arbiter and he's got some Dragoons and some Zealots. That is it. He has got to go and kill this base. And here we go. He's moving in some Zealots, moving in some Goons. Does Artosis pull the workers? I don't know where he's going to go with them. He can lift the command center for sure, but it's the SCVs, it's the workers that are now the precious commodity. His units are coming up and they're being flanked by the other Dragoons and he's just one-shotting them. You can just hear the sound of them dying. Death, 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 death. So now it's 11 SCVs to 12 probes. You cannot get a closer game than this. It is absolutely nuts. It feels redundant to have all these freaking science vessels and they can't really do anything to help Artosis now. He's hit the AMP, I think, on the Arbiters, so they can't stasis anything. But he's got to take this fight. I don't know if he's got enough units. He's got about 8 Vultures, 3 Goliaths, and 4 tanks. So perhaps the mechanical units are strong enough to kill what is in basically a control group of Zealots and Goons. And a couple of High Templars in here as well. And 2 Arbiters providing some cloak. Again, now irradiating. What did he irradiate? Irradiating the High Templar. Dead! Kill the High Templar with a radiate, you boss! You might get the other one as well. So the command center was lifted, but it didn't get red. So he can put it down again and start mining. What a game. What a game. This retro StarCraft that I'm doing, guys, is so much fun. If you want me to carry on, I've got a whole replay pack that I've built of retrocraft. Games from In Control, games from G5, games from Idra, games from Artosis from this era, and man, they are proving to be heaps of fun. So if you want to see some more of them, please do let me know. I think this one is winding down. It has been absolutely awesome. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. So we are long distance mining. We are moving around our units. We're probably going to kill this turret because why not? Don't engage partially. It's got to be all. It's got to be all. Okay. I think they've used all of their oopsie. Got Tourette's again with my mouse. They've used all of their spells in all likelihood. So let's go. Little quiet Patrick. Carriers have arrived! Out of nowhere, G5 has found the money for 2 carriers. Where? Where did you find the money and how are you going to build interceptors? More importantly, what does Artosis have to fight these carriers? He's got 4 Goliaths. He cannot build more interceptors though because he's not mining anything. He's built one now, but that's it. So there's about 8 interceptors and 2 carriers. I don't think that's going to be nearly enough, but what a surprise. Is that actually a good way to spend his money? I honestly don't know. I mean, he can't have built those long ago and just forgotten about them. He must have decided that was a good idea. I really don't think it was. Surely the play there would be to build more zealots and goons or something that he can use against all of Artosis' army. Yes, he is doing some long distance mining here, which is helping him get some money for interceptors. Units are down here, Cersei's opposite him. I still feel like his plan is to try and do a recall, but the problem is the critical items here is this base. So if he's going to recall, he needs to recall on top of this and then just take the fight. The Goliaths are here. Where are the tanks? The mines are here. Tanks are here. So the question you got to be asking yourself is, what is each player waiting for the other one to do? Okay, so cloak carriers, but those are... Oh, and he's recalled the goons with the carriers, so he's finally made his move. He understands that this is the base to go. Artosis is down to 13 SCVs. Target down this command center. This command center goes down. It's game over. It's gone. It's red. It's third. It's dead. This command center's gone. Surely that's it. There's honestly no other way out of that. I think Artosis' units are now... G5's units, I beg your pardon, are now trapped. So if Artosis moves in and spots here, he's going to be able... Oh, he's recalled them away! That is genius! Absolutely brilliant! So they were trapped, and then they weren't trapped, because he recalled them back here with the carriers, and now he's going to go and do, I don't know what. This command center's dead. Artosis does have the money to rebuild another command center. Is that what he does, though? I don't know. He has... nothing in his production tab. One player is building a probe. He's building a science vessel and nothing else. I don't know if he's sort of frozen or not quite sure what to... Okay, so there he's queued up some vultures out of his factories. 5 factory production. Vultures? Is vultures going to be what does this? I honestly don't know. Oh, man. What a game. I thought his units were trapped and he recalled them out. I mean, that is just a masterstroke. Still seems like both players have their little hit squad, and that's it. So this is his hit squad. He's got a double D matrix on the science vessel, and he's moving his units in. He's got the factory to spot, and here we go. He's going to fight this. It's a really good storm though, and that's going to kill a solid number of vultures, or at least make a few low. They got rid of the High Templar. I think that's really something that's bothering Artosis, is the threat of storm here from these High Templars. So he's definitely focusing them down before he moves in on the Protoss army. Every time. Here he irradiates. I think that's another High Templar that he irradiated. No, it was a Zealot. But it's just to be annoying using the spellcasters. If you have them, why not use the spells? It just kind of makes sense. The carriers with a limited number of interceptors, flanked by 2 arbiters and some dragoons. This factory's gone in and it's going to probably get sacked. Here come the carriers. There's only 3 Goliaths left. There's nothing else that shoots up here. Are these 2 carriers actually going to be the master stroke that gets G5 over the line here? Is this real life? Stasis is one of the Goliaths and he gets one of the tanks. Only now does the EMP go down. Maybe Artosis missed a trick there. He's got a freaking bajillion science vessels but didn't see the opportunity to hit the EMP before he got stasis. It's unfortunate. But the carriers here now are becoming really painful. This is a solid full carrier. Both of them each seem to have their full interceptors, so he's running away. Tanks are being picked off. I don't know where he's running to. Nobody's going to help him. He's building one Goliath out of his factory. I don't think he has any money for anything else. He doesn't have another SCV, so he's done. There's nothing else he can build here. So with the units that he has, he needs to win. Although one of the carriers has died, so that was a huge moment. What else has he got? Some goons and that's it. Unfortunately, this tank got frozen, so there was absolutely nothing that could be done here. So we have some vultures. We still have one carrier versus two Goliaths. Taking more hits on this carrier. I don't know if this carrier has any interceptors. He does. He's got 8 full interceptors, but he's not firing on anything at this stage. Here we go. So he's picking off some mines. How does this end? I honestly... I can't see anything other than a Protoss win, but it's just so close. I mean, 71 to 100 is the supplies. There's a lot of science vessels, though, that really does bloat that number out a lot. 3 tanks here. Moving down again with his units. Still doing a little bit of long distance mining. So this one carrier is getting direct shots though. He's focusing down this carrier. I think he's gonna get it. Just why he does. Okay, so Artosis kills the carrier. The carrier threat is now done. So it's literally this. It's these probably about 14 ground units with 2 arbiters against everything that Artosis has left, which is predominantly vultures, a couple of Goliaths, and the 3 tanks. If you can micro this is purely going to be a micro battle to see who wins this game and where this fight gets taken. Maybe mines will be relevant, maybe they won't. I can't see an observer anywhere. I think a lot of his observers have died. I talk absolute shit. Here's one here. So he's going to have the observers to know where the mines are, which is important for G5 to choose where to take this fight. The vessels could be useful for EMPing the arbiters to reduce the risk of any stasises or spells from these damn arbiters. Potentially some defensive matrix on these tanks as well to give him the best chance of this fight. But this has been it, guys. It is all built up to this final engagement between these units and everything that Artosis has left. Where is this final fight going to happen and how is it going to go? So he just loses a vulture there for nothing. A little bit unfortunate. And so here we go. I think G5 fully intends to take this fight here in a nice wide arc. And where the hell did his arbiters go? Yep, there he comes. Why is he gone there though? Okay, so he's fighting against the spotting factory, which has now died. Observer's now died. Come on! Here's another. Okay, so there's a few zealots here that I haven't seen. Repairing his tanks. Still a little bit of mining. He's actually re-established this base. So he's recalled on it! He's gone for it. This has been his move. I didn't realize Artosis actually rebuilt or floated another command center here. So he's gone to try and re-establish this base, and he's played his hand as G5. He's moved in these dragoons. If Artosis is able to kill all these dragoons now, he could win the game. He's doing absolutely nothing! Move your units, do something! Move your vultures! What is the plan here? Okay, so his plan is to buffer behind so that they can't get across this path. Is he going to recall them out again? I don't know if he has enough energy or enough arbiters to do it. I don't think he does. So he's floated it, he's repairing it, so it's going to survive. That is huge. He didn't lose the command center. He has 4 SCVs versus 2. He did! He did recall them again. They're gone! Is this real life? Is this real life? This is insane. He did it again. He recalled, he took the base, and then he recalled them out again. Now, where's he gonna go? Come on. Let's go. He's re-landing the base. He's gonna start mining again. Here comes the big fight. I think Artosis has got too much here. The Zealots just walk into a heap of mines. He's backing up here. He's whiffed that storm totally. Artosis has got 2 tanks here. He's got 1 behind. He's D-Matrix all 3 of them. He's hit the EMP. All of the Dragoons have died. Artosis is your winner. What an epic game. One of the more fun PvTs I've ever had the privilege of casting. If you enjoy that, I'm Rabbit Roo. I cast on a regular basis, so please do consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time, ciao for now.